Have you ever wondered if vitamin D might be beneficial for children with ADHD? If so, stick around because that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, sunshine is definitely the best way to get vitamin D, but let's be honest here. Sometimes it can be hard to get the necessary amounts of vitamin D from the sun, especially for those of us who live in areas that are cloudy often and don't get as much sunlight, like here in Seattle, where I live. Now, in that case, supplementation can be effective, but there's also a dark side of vitamin D, and that's what I want to share with you all today. So, if you're currently taking vitamin D or have ever wondered about if it might be helpful for your child with ADHD, then stick around because I'm going to be sharing some really, really important information about vitamin D today. Now, before we dive in, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Donna K. I'm a board certified holistic health and nutrition practitioner, and I specialize in kiddos with ADHD and help families all across the USA learn how to naturally reduce those ADHD symptoms. But I'm also a mom of a kiddo with ADHD, so I really know what it's like. I know how hard it can be and how overwhelming all of the information out there can be, not knowing what supplement is going to work, which therapy is going to help, and what's just a waste of time. And so that's why I do these videos several times each week, because I want you to have the most accurate, up-to-date information on what is worth your time, what is worth your effort, and what is definitely not. Now, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and subscribe right now so you don't miss any upcoming videos. So let's get started. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to supplementation. Ideally, supplementation should be tailored to each individual in order to address specific healing opportunities and to provide support to each individual body. Some children are helped by supplements that are targeting certain minerals and certain vitamins, but other children see absolutely no effects, or worse, they actually see negative effects. Now, I don't want you to waste a bunch of money on supplements that aren't tailored toward your child, because when I first started on this journey with my son, that is exactly what I did. And I spent a fortune trying this supplement and that supplement that someone said was the miracle cure for their child. And in the end, most of these supplements didn't help my son. One of them, I remember, actually made his behavior even worse. So what I like to tell families that I work with instead is to try and get as much as you can from the nutrients from food for their kids. So food is always our first medicine. We go there first to try and improve the state of the body, the state of the gut, reduce that inflammation in the body and the brain. Now, our children should be getting most of their nutrients through eating a well-balanced diet that is designed to maintain healthy levels of key nutrients and really foster that, emotional regulation and that brain development. So if you're just beginning the healing journey, my recommendation for you is, while supplements are great, but also change the diet, address the diet, cut out gluten, dairy, and soy, as these foods are the ones that create the most amount of inflammation in the body and the brain. Introduce more fruits and vegetables, eat more whole foods, eat less processed foods, incorporate healthy fats to feed that brain, and grass-fed animal protein and wild-caught seafood. Now, focus on the diet, and then we can move to supplements. Now, once a family has worked on their diet or is doing it alongside, that's when we can address supplementation. But that is typically after I actually do functional lab testing to see what is going on in that particular child's body. It really makes no sense to give a supplement without first trying to determine if the body actually needs that supplement. I can tell you that if they don't need that supplement, you're just going to end up with a lot of expensive poop. Yep, because they don't need it, it's going to go right out. Now, with that being said, there are some really good supplements that are good for just about everyone. And vitamin D is definitely one of those. Deficiency in vitamin D, which is an essential vitamin, is common among children and adults with ADHD. And studies show that the proportion of children with a vitamin D deficiency and ADHD diagnosis is actually significantly larger than that of the children without the ADHD diagnosis. Now, other studies suggest that vitamin D also plays a vital role in the proper functioning of the central nervous system and mental health, which is super important for our kiddos with ADHD. So as a result, supplementation with vitamin D is a common strategy used by many practitioners and families. And it's one I recommend often to the families I work with that have children with ADHD. A vitamin D supplement can work wonders to support children with ADHD, especially when it is taken with a supplement of omega-3 fatty acids. Now, the sunshine vitamin, as it's called, is one that our bodies produce in the skin as a result of exposure to sunlight. But many people have insufficient levels because they live in places where sunlight is limited, especially in the winter, or because they have limited sun exposure due to being inside much of the time, which I know I do. People with darker skin also tend to have lower blood levels of vitamin D because the pigment acts like a shade, reducing production of vitamin D. It's really super interesting. And also, the overuse of sunscreen can also block the skin's vitamin D receptors, leading to the same outcome. Now, to add to this, only a few foods are naturally abundant in this fat-soluble vitamin, so getting enough through food alone can be a challenge. Now, these are the examples of foods that contain a good amount of vitamin D, and they are things like sardines, cod liver oil, beef liver, eggs, mushrooms, and caviar. But let's face it, guys, kids aren't crazy about being served a mushroom and caviar omelette with a side of beef liver and a chaser of cod liver oil. All of this can lead to a deficiency in vitamin D and results in many symptoms, including ADHD symptoms. So, supplementation to the rescue. Now, the way that this vitamin affects kids with ADHD specifically is that it is necessary for neurodevelopment and for the production of dopamine. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a really important role in how we feel pleasure, how we think, how we plan, how we focus, and how we find things interesting. However, there are a few things to keep in mind with supplementation of vitamin D. You know, there is the dark side of vitamin D, like I mentioned earlier. First of all, proper research and understanding of the different forms of vitamin D and how exactly each of them works is often missing when many families begin taking a supplement protocol. Also, practitioners and online experts don't always provide specific product recommendations and diet dosage guidance. Plus, the aisles at the grocery stores and drugstores are lined with various options, leaving consumers confused as to which supplement to pick and how much to take. And one other thing, there is an important and often missed caveat to supplementing with vitamin D. Neurodevelopment isn't the only function of vitamin D, okay? It is also used by the body in many other ways, including building and maintaining strong bones. The bone building cells are stimulated by vitamin D, and in order for those cells to be converted into actual bone, they need vitamin K2 as well. And so when people supplement with vitamin D without the necessary K2, what the body does, it will use up all available K2 in the body in response to bone building cells being stimulated by vitamin D, which can lead to K2 depletion. And when we're low in K2, we can experience symptoms such as cardiovascular problems, heart disease, among many others. And we certainly don't want our supplements to create problems in other parts of the body, particularly when this has to do with bone development for growing kids and the health of their cardiovascular system. This is why it is so important to make sure the supplements you are using are formulated thoughtfully. My favorite vitamin D supplement is called Shine Thrive, and I love this one because of the formulation. It contains vitamin D3 along with vitamins K1 and K2 to ensure that the families that are taking it, the kids that are taking it, are not only getting the benefits of these vitamins, but also they're preventing a whole host of other issues resulting from improper supplementation. I'm going to include a link to this in the video description. Now, again, even though I think vitamin D can be beneficial for most people, I still recommend that you do it alongside food. Work on the diet because, supplementing will not do anything if you're still pounding the body with these inflammatory foods. Another option I want to share with you is functional lab testing. Many of the families I work with want a more targeted approach to healing the underlying stresses that are going on in their kid's body. They don't want to just add in supplements that their kids may or may not need. So they start by doing functional lab testing. Then when we get the results back, we can see exactly what is going on in that kid's body. We can target our supplementation to fit them specifically. Now, I don't want to go into a ton of detail on testing right now, just to keep this video somewhat short. It's a little bit long, but I'd be happy to talk with you about this more. You can contact me through the links in the video description. I'll also pop a link to a video I did on lab testing for you to check out. Look for that link in the video description as well. I hope that answers your questions today. And remember, subscribe to my channel and check the video description for those links. Bye for now.